requires discipline, strategy, and finely honed skills. Traders are up against the best and brightest Wall Street has to offer. At TraderInsight.com, you can look over the shoulder of one of America's top traders. Join Dr. Adrian Manz and a cast of highly talented traders as they earn their living navigating the markets, one stock at a time, one trade at a time. TraderInsight.com. Strategy, discipline, results.
For TraderInsight.com, this is Adrian Manz, and this is Stocks and Sectors on the Radar for Monday, November 18th, 2008. Before we get started tonight, I'd like to let you know that if you would like to join me in Las Vegas this Friday for a live webcast, if you're not going to be at the Traders Expo, you can sign up for a free live webcast by clicking on the hotspot in the video here and registering and watching me live on Friday at 5, I believe it's 5:30 actually Pacific time. If you can't see it live, you can always watch the video archive if you have registered for it. So go ahead and sign up for that thing. I'll be talking about some of my strategies for very volatile markets. It ought to be a good session, and it is sponsored entirely by the folks at the Las Vegas Traders Expo, so it is free to you, and that's always good news. Well, on Friday, let's talk about this. The Dow down 338 points. So once again, we managed to have a nice big gainer day, followed by price action that just went and chewed right back through it again and took us down lower on the day and, of course, lower on the week. So 338 points lost on the day. 1.45 billion shares exchanged hands, but here's the important number as far as I'm concerned. 629 stocks advanced, 2,446 declined. Those internals stink. I don't care what metric you look at. I don't care how you're approaching this market. This is every single day. Whatever news comes out, it just seems like it's always going to be bad news. The good news in the bad news is that we are evidently stuck in the box, right? That Dow box right there, that support and resistance area, has been pretty impervious when it comes to good news breaking it to the upside and really, really bad news breaking it to the downside. So as long as we stay in that box, I'm relatively confident that we're not going to go down and retest some pretty ugly lows. If we break out of this thing and head down to the next support and resistance level, it's going to be kind of a long journey for the Dow, and it's going to do some major deconstructive unwinding of price action that goes back for a few years. So let's see what happens this week. We're going to have a bunch of retail announcements. We're obviously going to have some news from the insurance industry regarding what's going on out here in California. I can tell you as someone who lives in the Los Angeles area, it ain't good. But we'll see how that affects the insurance industry, and also look for some plays in insurance stocks a little bit further out in the week. But for right now, let's just take a quick look at the other indices. The S&P 500 also stuck in the box, right? Same box. Bounds the price action in just about everything right now. All the major indices, NASDAQ 100 and the NASDAQ comp. If we break out of that box in the 100 or the comp, we are more likely to break to the downside in those indices quicker than we are in the Dow. So, again, as I said before, let's hope that the news keeps us in this area. Of course, we don't have a vested interest in the market going up or down, but a lot of other people do, and we'll make money on the upside just like we make money on the downside. So really, let's see what happens here. Let's see what the news gives us going forward. Now, this week, as I said, I'm going to watch the consumer. I am going to watch retail. I am going to watch insurance. I'm going to keep an eye on this VIX, but at this point, I think really that what's happening is, I think we talked about this last week, that we've got a new mean area in the VIX for sure, and that a reversion to the mean does not mean as much right now as it did when the VIX was trading down here and then made this move to the upside, and everybody was waiting to see if it would come back down into this range. Didn't happen, obviously. We know what happened instead. We've got tons of volatility, and I would assume at this point that we're going to have a pretty ugly close going into the end of the year, and for that reason, watch for tax selling. I mean, everybody's talking about the hedge fund redemptions. Everybody's talking about, the short interest is actually going down. So when the market does start moving up again, where's the short covering going to come from? I think at this point, the thing everybody's got to be afraid of is who's going to start taking some tax losses going into the end of this year. How is that going to affect, whether it's coming from private accounts or institutional accounts or whatever, who's going to be taking those losses, and what's that going to do when that selling hits. But let's get back to the retailers right now, because that's where I'm going to focus my attention early in the week. We've got Home Depot. Home Depot reports this week, Lowe's reports this week, Limited reports this week. I'm also going to watch Best Buy and Medtronics. But let's talk about these one by one. Home Depot here, obviously, we have got the potential to go down and at least test support. That's been established numerous times here, October and November. We have these highs and lows in here that would be a very logical place for the stock to go on any earnings news that isn't great, which I assume it's not going to be. Although, if you look at Lowe's, you look at Home Depot, you look at Limited, you look at Best, you look at all these guys, they're all doing better than other retailers. So we don't know yet. So just watch for the rumors to start floating. The rumors are going to be very tradable. The news is probably going to be kind of a dud. We've got Lowe's, same kind of a deal. Lowe's is, if Lowe's triggers to the downside, I'm going to be looking for moves down into this support range, moves that test the support. That's definitely going to be where I'm focusing my intentions or my trading plans and trading ideas when it starts to move out of here. Limited. This one is a switch hitter setup, so the lows established on November 13th will be of interest here. Best Buy, same thing. Best Buy's looking weak. We just had the Circuit City debacle, and we know that Best Buy is going to go out of the year on sort of a sour note as well, right? You're talking about a company here that does a lot of its business on credit, whether it's the merchandise that it stocks and holds in inventory or the merchandise that it sells to the consumer. Consumer's going to have a hard time getting credit. The stores are going to have a hard time getting credit. None of that spells very good news for Best Buy, so let's keep an eye on what happens this week as well as next week. And finally, we've got Medtronic. Medtronic earnings this week. I don't know really what to expect from this one in terms of is it going to be slightly better than expected or not. My guess is it'll come in line. And that's not going to be good news for the stock in terms of any kind of a move higher. So again here, I'm going to be watching for a test of this area right here, move to the downside and see what happens. So again, click on that hotspot in the video here to register for the event on Friday. I'd love to have you join me. You can ask questions through the moderator there, and these things are usually a pretty good time, and we really enjoy doing them. And of course, again, the Traders Expo, as always, we thank them for sponsoring the event. So for TraderInsight.com, this is Adrian Manz, and have a good trading day on Monday.